Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial in camera and lens repair. And this time I would really like to try to actually clean the lens element in an old Kern Paillard SWITAR 1.6, and it's the 10mm and the H16 RX. So I got this lens some years ago, and because the focus, sadly the focus is completely worn out because somebody has used a tool, or heavy tool, and simply destroyed the helicoid. But I think I could actually make a video about how to clean the lens element, and that's quite interesting. I've been into it, just a sneak peek to how it looks from the front and from the back. And since the normally you could turn the focusing ring, but in this case it doesn't really work because there's missing screws here, and the focus system, you cannot at all turn it. It will not. You can see here the back. You can turn the focusing ring as much as you will, but nothing is working. So, but before taking it apart, it's really important when you take off the helicoid system here. It sits with, I think there has maybe sitting a little screw there. I don't know, because I've never seen it. There should be any, but at least there's one here, there, and the last one is here. So at least you have to unscrew those. But before doing so, just an important thing, because when you pull out if you just unscrew the 3 screws here and just pull out the helicoid focusing system, there should be some alignment. So the important thing is you set a mark here somewhere. It could be, we just do it a try. It will not work in this case because the helicoid is not working. But what you could do is simply set a mark here in line with the index mark, and in that way you will know where the back here is. It's actually the focusing ring you move here, but it's and it goes into the, this ring here goes into the very back here, with part of the mount here. So unscrew the 3 screws and keep them safe, and you actually begin with the infinity, and maybe it should be there, I don't know. I think it will be there. That's infinity. So by pulling out gently, very gently, you simply pull it out very, if I can. It's a bit tight actually, but here you will see the there's coming a ring. You can see it here. So this one is the actual focus. When you focus, when you turn the focusing ring, it will actually be this ring here, not this. It is that ring, but not this one. So you also have to remember and simply set a mark in here, so it's also in line with the index mark, just so you have everything in correct place. And when you pull it out, you just pull straight out. So you see, when we actually open more up here, you will see there is a lot of notches here. They're all the way around inside here. You probably can see them in here. Those notches is part of the focusing system, and if we look closer into here, you can see this little tab. This one here is going into one of the notch. Which one? Well, it depends on how the adjustment is. But you have to have the correct little pin. Where did it go? Here. This little pin has to go into the correct notch in here. So if it's possible with a fine dentist tool or something like that, you could, if we move into here, see the little pin here, it goes into a little notch down here. So it should be sitting between those two, or the two next, or the two on the other side. It depends. But that's a way you actually call it micro adjust the focusing system, because you can tweak it in a way. So fine tune it, and also do it with the 3 screws here. You can unscrew them, and in that way turn the focusing ring here, and in that way adjust it. But remember, that's really important when if you do not have to do anything in here in the focusing, if the focusing system helicoid is working fine, don't unscrew it. I mean, if you have to do it, well, remember to set marks in here and also in here. Just a tiny scratch, or maybe on the back here, well, you could do it. But then, now we know that, but we simply pull out, and then we have it here. See the little pin? And you can, if you want, you can also set have the little pin here. You can set a scratch up here, all the way up here, and to here. So it's in line with the pin here. So now you know that. It would be easy to put it on here again, since you have an index mark here, in line with the index mark here. You can put it on again and screw in the 3 small set screws. Remember that, it's important. Now, since we know that, we can continue into the lens elements, and it's a bit tricky, because okay, I mean, I've been into it, so now I know exactly how it's put together, and I think, okay, can I just take this ring off? Yeah, but you see, there are some lens element here on the back which we need to take out, and there are some on the front, on the other side of the aperture. And all you see here, the focusing ring, the depth of field scale, the aperture ring, and the front is all taken from the front. So the other lens element here on the back is coming out here, and there are a few of them in here, also here. And yeah, we need some tools to do that, and at least a 1.2 millimeter flathead screwdriver. It should be that. It could be whatever, but it should be a good quality. A lens sucker, a small one. Maybe we'll also use a bigger one. It depends. And some tweezers can also be handy. Some cotton buds maybe, and some compasses. Yeah, they act as a lens tool in this case, which I like to use. They are old and they are really good steel. A torch will be fine, just a tiny one, because it will be easier than using a very strong light. You can see it better in this case. With a rubberized tweezer can be very handy when working with lenses. This is a homemade, but sprayed with plastic dip on it, and those I buy in a shop where they sell things for stamp collectors. So pretty good, and it costs not much. Now, some rubber tools is also very handy. I mean, the famous rubber cone from Japan Hobby Tool is really good. Maybe some plumber tool, gasket. It's very handy, and they could also be some of those in different size. Now, and we need some cleaning fluid. I will, in this case, use the Eclipse and the Peg Pad non-abrasive wipes, which I think is fine, and I cut them in smaller pieces, so it's more economical in that way. And we will probably also need some a very little amount of grease, and I think I will go fine with the Liqui-Moly LM47 with moss too. Now let's jump into it. I think we'll start with the back lens group here, and you see there are, just better move things out of way. There are two notches here. I mean, there are two not holes, but I don't know what you call them, countersunk or something, boring maybe. There are two of them, but it takes the element here. The other one takes a mount for this lens, so I will begin with that. Some of them can be really hard to take off, and if it's the case, you can use some isopropyl alcohol or maybe nail polish remover, and it could be sometimes this work, sometimes this work, and it should be the one with acetone. Now, if you want to I mean, if the thread here are really tight, you can simply add a little of yeah, we can just show it, and just a little amount of isopropyl alcohol, and you simply just add it to the edge of the thread. And you can probably also do it in here if the mount, I mean the retaining ring for the lens here, it can be a little tight. You simply add a little, so you will see the isopropyl alcohol or nail polish remover will just go into the thread and soften the thread lock, and in that way we will make it easier to unscrew. But in this case I will just put it on here and have a good grip here, and also be very gently when you unscrew it. Simply have a good grip, and then it's loose in a way, and then we can unscrew it. This is so it is, and we can just take a look how bad is it. Yeah, well, I would say it's quite dirty. So let's see how interesting it will be. And the lens in here is also quite dirty. There's a lot of haze in here. And the next lens element, I mean, there's only one lens element in here in this mount. And the next one, which is yeah, almost the same size, but we can use the same lens tool here and have a good grip on it and gently unscrew it. And so it's come loose. Here we are. So there it is. Just pop it out. And yeah, okay, there is another one. How good is that, or how bad is that lens element? Well, there's really a lot of dirt in here. I actually took a picture before I get into the lens. I mean, with my Fuji X10, but well, it doesn't really cover the sensor. It's actually make a round picture. So yeah, so it is. Now you see this lens element is smaller, and the boring is a bit different. So I will use another one which has round tip and simply put it in here. And again, if the thread, you can see there is something here which you could simply add a little of, we can just show it here, some isopropyl alcohol, just a tiny amount, and simply put it in here so you can see it spread around, and then in that way soften the thread lock. So, and then it should be quite easy to unscrew it. Have a good grip on it, and then it sits tight even if I have been into it before. And then we can unscrew it. I mean, take good care of this lens element here, because, and then in that, because we will use a rubber tool to simply take out the lens element. Maybe I could use this one here. Yeah, it's also useful. It's 23 millimeter. Or we could also use the one here, number one, the smallest one. Simply put it in and flip it over, and hopefully the lens element will come out. No, not really. So we can have a grip here on the bottom and simply give the little movement here. Probably come out. Maybe it's not all the way out of the thread. Yeah, here it comes, and here it comes out. Nothing else. Now, if we look here, this lens element is a cemented lens element containing two lens elements. See, the retaining ring here is a little bigger, so be aware of that. Especially before you do anything, you simply set a scratch here. I mean, a small arrow which is facing that way. I would say you make a scratch here, and I know it's difficult to see. You probably can see it here, but I actually made an arrow facing this way here, so it goes that way. That's towards the front. Now put the lens element aside, and we will do some other work here. We need something to put it on. Maybe this is number 2. It's good to have it sit there. And well, I could just yeah, I think I will just do the back lens group first, which could be fine, and then we can put it together again. Now let's see how bad or good it is if we put some light through it. Well, there are some dirt and dust in here. It's not bad. I mean, it could be worse, a lot more. So what I will do, I simply put it on a stand. Maybe this one would be fine. Yeah, that's fit. It fits. So if you have those gray rubber tools, you will have to use the smallest one and simply put it on here. And then you can put them together, so you have a better, more controlled way when you work with it. Now, so we need some lens wipes, and we will just take one out here, tiny piece, and I use the Eclipse lens cleaner, which I think it's good. Maybe there are other Kim wipes also, I don't know. So just a tiny amount, it doesn't have to be much, and then with a light pressure on the lens element moving around, it's just it just have to be a featherweight. So now you can see how, if we have some focus, it looks really clean. Wow, different, huge difference. So flip it over and do the other side. It will be the convex side. The other one was actually almost completely flat. So doing this, and just the weight of the wipes, that's enough. Wow, huge difference. Now let's see how it looks, because then we could actually put it in again. But if we look here, yeah, there is actually a huge difference. Wow. Let's put it back in again so we know where it is. And again, it's just easier to put the retaining ring here on a on the rubber tool, then have it in a way that, like this, the flat side against the front, and we can simply put it over all the way in, and hopefully it will catch the hole where the lens sit. It can be a little tricky. Oh, click, it says, and then I can just put it in. So, wow, huge difference. And then tighten the retaining ring again. Doesn't have to be much. So you could, if you want, I mean, there was some nail polish, probably something like that, and you could, if you want, add a little drop of nail polish remover. I mean, not pen nail, but some nail polish. But I mean, it will not really came off. I mean, in my opinion, it's not that big thing. Now, the next lens element, which is the second one, it sits in a mount, kind of. And there is also something nail polish here, kind of, or lac, or something like that. And we can just, I haven't been into those two lens elements, just take them out. And just to actually soften the thread lock. Could be maybe more easy to come into it. And you see it will, if you only press here on the, come on, autofocus, sometimes the autofocus is, So you see here, if you add it, it will go all the way around here. And I think it will make it much easier to unscrew. Now, since we have those rubber cones, we will try to use some of the smaller one, but it's not the right size. Maybe this one will work better. Well, I could try to just actually I found out a rubber, I mean this is gray rubber from a printer, and the rubber is, I mean, it's the rubber that grips the paper when it goes into the printer. So I found out it's extremely sticky, and we can just put it around here and act as a rubber tool. So sit like that, and hopefully it should be more easy to unscrew it. Hopefully, I think. Yeah, it came loose. So you can see, I mean, you can use tools from almost everything, since rubber, I mean the sticky rubber here, is also really good for that kind of work. Now, take care, when working with those lenses, it sits in a way like this. So this is the next lens element that goes into the lens. So remember how it sits in the mount. If you put it in wrong, you will have a lens that does not really work. So you can see here the lens element, and let's see how bad it is. Well, a lot of haze or something like that, in my opinion. So it's not that good, but I think it's not that bad to have it, in a way, what do you say, it's I mean, it can still be useful, but with a small lens sucker, I would think it could be easy to take out. So here we have it, and it says like that. It's flat on the front, that goes into the mount, and it's also a cemented lens, like we can see here, a convex here on the back. I don't know how the other lens, I mean the other side of the convex lens is looking, but the front here is yeah, it's almost flat, maybe a little tiny convex. But I will do the same as before and see how good it will be with a lens cloth wipe, and just a tiny drop, I mean maybe 2-3 drops of cleaning fluid, and just a few turns, so we have it here. Wow, huge different. Now then the other side, I think it will be really good. And there, so, and out. Now I mean, to me, it looks so much better than it was. So, since we know the flat side here goes into the mount here, we'll just put it in. And sometimes it's easier not touching the lens element, and we can actually just put the lens, the convex side here goes into the retaining ring. So we simply just put it on and put the mount over and let it goes into it, hopefully. Yeah, I think it will be fine. There it says click. It's good when it says click. I mean, when you turn the mount or the retaining ring a little backward, it says click, and then you are into the thread. So screw it on again, and then we are fine. So, and of course you can also add some nail polish or whatever, but I mean in this case it is not really important, and everything looks really good in my opinion. So you can simply put it on a little rubber tool here, and also put it into the lens here, and so it says there. We could probably turn it over, and you're going a little backward. We will catch the thread. It should be something like click. That's a good sound, because then you're very sure it's the correct. It goes into the thread. Well, there's something here which I can see. Maybe the two lens element here is going to be separated. There could be something, and there is a slightly sign of there is something on the way, and then you have to separate the lens. I haven't tried that yet, but maybe one day I will give it a go. I mean, not this lens, but another one. Then we have the other one, the very back lens element, and I will do the exact same thing. I have no idea if there is any cemented lens on the very back. Maybe it's just one single lens element, but I will again do something isopropyl alcohol on the thread, so it will suck in and make it more easy to come into it. Yeah. How bad was it? There's my torch here. As I remember, it doesn't look that good. Now, again with the copying machine printer rubber thingy, which looks really good. I mean, you can harvest it from an old printer, maybe. So you have the same thing again, and it actually come off very easy. And so there. And then we can just take it off here. The retaining ring. Oh, I think it's another cemented lens. Sits in the mount. Now we just turn it over, flip it over, and let the lens jump into the retaining ring. And that way it's more easy. You see, it sits in a mount that looks like the second lens group here. And this one is actually, let's see how it looks. It's actually, in this case, I don't know if there's been anybody else in here, but it's convex here on this side. It will say like this, and it's flat or almost flat on the very back. Maybe it's wrong, maybe it's right, I don't know, but I think I will just set an arrow so I'm safe home. In this case, it has to be a very tiny scratch, but still a readable arrow. So, and then we can do the cleaning. I think it will be interesting to see how good or bad it will be when when I take the second picture of this lens. I mean, with this lens, to see how good it turned out to be. Before and after picture. Well, just give it another go. So there. That was better. Now, the other side. And I think it will be interesting to see how good it will be. If I think it's also always a challenge to see a really, really bad lens, how good it will be when it's clean. Now that helps a lot. So let's have a torch through it. Some light. Well, there's still something in, and it could be, it looks like there is some lens separation on a way in this case, which I cannot do anything about. I mean, at the moment. There's something on the back here. Maybe I will give it another go. So maybe it's the way somebody has cleaned their lenses with something not so good. Or it could of course also be haze, but it's fungus. Okay, well, hold on a second. Now let's see. Since it is fungus, I need to do some use some hydrogen peroxide, 3%, which is really good for that in many cases. I've tried so many times, and I think it's amazing how good it works. And I didn't expect there was fungus on the lens, so but let's see how good it can go. Always interesting. So give it a go here with the hydrogen peroxide, just a light pressure, and move it around. It's something, yeah. It's not, no. It's more a damaged lens. I mean, there is something on it. You probably can see the. I mean, it looks like it's the I don't know, the coating or just the glass surface that is damaged. So I will not do anything more with that lens. I think it will be fine. So yeah, so it is. Yeah, it looks like there is. If we look at the other side, probably can see there is some. You can see the inner of the I mean, yeah, there's not really anything I can do about it. So I'll just put it back in again and say that's all fine. And since we have our arrow, I know where which way the lens has to facing. And I guess it must be the correct way. Now the mount goes in here. Go a little backward and try to catch the thread. Click says. Hopefully. Yeah, I think we got it. Well, at least it was a little better. Oh, it didn't come correct into the place where it should sit. So there. Don't tighten it. If the lens is not sitting correct, don't tighten the retaining ring too much. But now I'm fine. And just check here on the front. I think it's fine. Oop. So, and then we can put it back in again. And say, okay, that's it. And then continue to the front. I mean, I think it helps a little. So then tighten the back here. So that was the back lens group. Now we continue to the front. And how to go into that? Yeah. There is a tiny set screw here on the front. So the retaining ring here, or the name ring here, actually can only sit in one. I mean, if you flip it, it cannot put in, but you have to turn it correct so it goes in. Now, 1.2 millimeter flathead screwdriver, and you just loosen it. So, just a few turns, not too much. It should be enough. Maybe we have to take it out all the way. I don't know. Oh, I could actually put that on. No, that's fine. So get that ring off here. we could use one of the rubber tools here, this one. It's the number 4 cone. Simply put it on and have a good grip here, and we can unscrew it. I mean, maybe we have to unscrew the little set screw a little more. Could be just a little, and then unscrew it. So that's it. You see, it's out of, I mean, the screw does not sit in the middle, so it cannot sit in that way. Nope. So this is fine. And now next is the I will unscrew the front here, but okay, I thought I could just unscrew it by a piece of rubber tool, but to do that there is a tiny hole here on the aperture ring, and for that we need to find a little set screw here that is holding this front section in place. So by looking through the hole, we could, or we will see a little set screw. There it is. So in that way we will unscrew it fully, and simply unscrew it all the way out. So it's tiny, so it's there. Maybe I should put the ring in here so I know I'm more safe to where it is. Now you cannot unscrew the aperture ring yet, but we need to unscrew this here, and for that I will use a I could use a rubber tool like this. It's a plumber rubber thingy, but yeah, we can do it and simply put it on the flat side here, simply unscrew it. So and then it comes loose, so I can just by hand unscrew it. And here we are. You see the little boring here, I mean the little hole here where the thread is actually where the tiny set screw goes through, and keep this ring in a safe place. So now we can continue into the next lens element by actually unscrew it with a lens compass tool, but no, not yet, because I mean all lens sections or lens groups is sitting in a mount. This one too, and to unscrew it, yeah, you see the two holes here, there and there, and in the one of this there is a little tiny set screw, so we need to unscrew that. Catch the head of the screw, or was it was the other one. So simply unscrew it. There is tiny. There, and then we can unscrew it. And before doing so, I actually set a little mark here, little tiny mark here, pin, and in line with the index mark. just so we know where it should sit when I screw it in. It will end up in that way. So by unscrew this, have a good grip, and in that way we can unscrew the second lens element, a lens group, from the front. So here we are, using a rubber tool to just let it fall into your hand, and then we out here. So what we see in here is actually directly into the aperture plates. It will be another video I will do about that. Now here we see the second lens group, and it's really dirty in here. A lot of old grease. I don't know where it comes from. Now, so we can just begin with that, and well, since I haven't been into those two, I mean this lens here, I don't know how it really looks, but let's have a look inside. We need a rubber thingy, not too big. Maybe this one can do it. Yeah, I think. You can just pop it into, it's number 3. And in that way I could use my tool here just to see, will it work or not? Yeah, it's a bit sticky, but I think it will work. To unscrew it, there it comes loose, and better use the retaining ring to actually take the lens element out, so you have a safe place. Now it should come out. Oh, I thought it was a bigger element, but it's tiny. And as you can see here, it's also a cemented lens. So if we look here, come on. Now, it sits in that way. If we look through, it'll go to the front. And I think it will, I mean, it should be obvious, because it can only sit in one position. You simply cannot put it in wrong. But how good or bad is this lens element? Well, let's have a look. Wow. It's not really that bad, in my opinion. But yeah, there's something on here on the surface here at the front. So I will just do a little cleaning. So here. Maybe it's just better to do the other side first. I'll just do the inside first, and for that I will use a tiny cotton bud, some of those thin ones, and simply add a little of Eclipse that way, and simply go around here. Yeah, that's good. That's really good. And then for the other side, I'll just use a light pressure So there and out. Wow. There's something on here on the edge. I think I will probably just use some. It looks like there is a little something on, so I will just do it again with the hydrogen peroxide. Could be something likely fungus or haze, especially on the edge, or maybe it's just marks. Well, I'll just do another go with some Eclipse. So there. Yeah, it helps. It actually helps a lot. And then I can just put it in the mount again. Where is the retaining ring? Here. So there. And then put it in. Yeah, I think it's fine. Then flip it over and try to put in the retaining ring. Click, says, and then gently screw it in. I think it will be fine for now. Yeah, it definitely looks better, in my opinion. And then tighten it gently. And then I could actually just put it in, back in again, where it sits. Oh, hold on a second. So there. Simply add the lens here in again. Oh, come on. Yeah. Goes in here. Has quite a long thread. So there. And gently tighten it. I mean, the aperture ring has not to be too hard to turn, but I think it will be fine. Our little set screw here, and it's good with a magnetized screwdriver. It will help you a lot. So there. And then we can do the actual front lens group, which I haven't been into. I mean, you can probably see there is something, but I think it's more on the front. So, but let's see how good it will be. I have no idea. But I think I will use some isopropyl alcohol on the inside here and let it suck in, and it will in that way loosen the thread lock. I mean, hopefully. So I can put it into a mount. So it sits there, and when I think there is not any screw in here. No, should be possible to unscrew without any problems. I think it should. Yeah, it came loose. That's fine. It could be different in your lens, where things can sit pretty tight or so. And then it comes loose. Flip it over. I have no idea if there is in 1 or 2 lens element in here, but let's see how good it will be. And would be something like that. Oh, here it is. And it's only, it looks like it's only 1 lens element. Maybe there are 2, but I think, wow. I mean, the surface here is really not good. What about the other, the inside? I think there's some haze on this one, so I will just use a stand, a different stand. I think this one will be fine. And so there. Those gray rubber tools is a set of 9 different, which I buy on, I think it was Amazon or so. Now let's see, there was some, we have a light through it. Yeah, it's not really so good, but there is something, definitely some haze on the inside here, and on the very front here. Yeah, but let's see how good it will go. Which one is better? I think take the front first, and I think I simply use some hydrogen peroxide at first, because I think there is something on. Oh, that was not good. And simply move around. Well, there is some difference. Maybe I think I will just give it a go with the hydrogen. I mean the Eclipse. Well, there is some difference. But maybe I will, yeah, I think I will do it again with the hydrogen peroxide. Just to give it another go and see if it will help. And you maybe can put a little harder pressure on it. Not too much. And then, yeah, there is something. And then we do a final go on this with the Eclipse. I mean, there is a difference. Now to the back of this lens group. And I think I will just give it a go with the, just to see if it will work with the Eclipse. Could be if the haze will disappear. Well, let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's something really different. And I think it's actually working. I mean, it's not a new lens, but you can see there is something really different right now. So I'll just put it back in again and say that's all fine. But now maybe if I do that way, let's see. No, maybe this one can do it. Yeah, this one will work. And put it over. And then put the retaining ring in. Go a little backward. Click. Amazing. Now the interesting thing is how good will the result look. Then tighten it gently, not too much. I think this lens have had a hard time during its life. And then we can just put it in here. Yeah, the tiny set screws in, and I can just put the front here. Catch the thread. So there. And tighten it good. This is just another piece of rubber from a turntable, which I think is very good. Tighten it gently. And now then we have to find the little hole where the little boring sits. Oh, there it is, I think. Yeah, it's the hole. So I can just put this on, in. So then I should be able to this tiny set screw into here. There. Then the front retaining ring goes on. Just screw it in. And if it goes a little hard to screw in, you can just loosen the screw, maybe 1 or 2 turns, and then continue screw in the retaining ring. Tighten it good, and then screw it in. So that's it. And then we can just put it on again, and you have to, since you haven't moved the focusing thingy, the focus helicoid, just put it in here, and you have to catch the, with the little tiny pin in here, has to go into the notch, one of the those notch. It's not the case here because the focusing helicoid is really bad. So you can put it in, and then you set it to infinity, put in the 3 screws around, and then you're done. So now the lens really looks much more healthy, in my opinion. It has really improved how good it looks, and we can just put a light to it. Whoa, there's really a lot of different. I mean, it was really bad before, so I think it will work pretty good. But there will be an after picture, before and after picture for this lens, before I clean it and after. So that's all for me. So hope you can use the info about this lens. There will be another video sooner. So that's all. Bye bye.